Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Reptile Room. Today we're taking a quick look at Michael. He is an albino hedgehog. Now, albino essentially means that an animal is unable to produce melanin. This is a dark pigmentation. In mammals, melanin is really the only pigment at play, so an albino mammal is typically white with red eyes. So a little different than reptiles, like a ball python, for example. An albino ball python would still have yellow in it due to the xanthor pigments that are at play. But in mammals, you wind up with an all-white animal. So Michael here is a pretty friendly little guy. He came to us from the RCMP, actually. They found him. There was a fellow walking around with a couple of these guys trying to sell them as baby porcupines, which they're certainly not. But he's a pretty neat little fella. Hedgehogs are often purchased as kids for pets, or pets for kids, more so. And they honestly don't make the best kids' pets, if I'm honest. I mean, for starters, they are covered in spikes, and they're not the most social. They're pretty shy in general. He's a particularly outgoing individual. Now, these guys are a little trickier to care for in captivity than something like a hamster. There's a few things to consider. They need a little bit warmer temperatures, so in wintertime that might mean setting up a space heater or a heat lamp for them in their enclosure to give them that little extra kick, so they don't go into a hibernative state. Now, these guys are primarily insectivores in the wild, so we do give them insects in captivity as well. They quite enjoy them. Michael here is snacking on some kingworms at the moment, which are his favorite go-to. He gets them in moderation because they are pretty high in fat. It's important when you're preparing a hedgehog's diet that they have really high protein but relatively low fat in their food. So this is mostly a treat. I would offer alternative insects that are lower in fat for the most part, but for the sake of the video, he's having a nice snack. Now you can also feed them a variety of other things. Even though they are primarily insectivorous, they are technically omnivores. So there are some fruits and veggies that they do like. You do want to be using moderation with fruit as well. It's pretty high in sugar, right? So you want to make sure that they're not getting too much sugar in their diet. And vegetation is good for them as well, as long as you put a little bit of multivitamin on it. As a staple food, you can use pre-made hedgehog diets. I would recommend avoiding these, as these often have a lot of non-nutritional fillers in them. If anything, I'd recommend a really high-quality cat food, actually. And they won't eat as much as a cat, obviously, so it'll go a little further. So those extra few bucks can make for a much healthier animal. I'd stay away from kitten food. It is smaller and easier for them to crunch up, and the hard food is good for their little teeth to crunch away at. They quite enjoy that. But kitten food is generally super high in fat to facilitate a lot of growth. And in the case of a hedgehog, it won't make them really grow any bigger. Well, as far as body structure and musculature goes, it will make them bigger, just in all the wrong ways. So handling these guys isn't actually that hard. You just kind of scoop them up from underneath, and they'll huff up a little bit at first. They'll ball up and show you their quills, just so they let you know that they're kind of nervous. They're not sure what you're doing. But then they calm down. The quills go back down, and they're actually quite soft if you pet them the right way. Their tummies are also ridiculously soft. Yeah, come by the reptile room. Check him out. He is looking for a new home now. He's all back up passing the bill of health. So yeah, we'll talk to you guys later. Have a great day.